The Sacred Magic Show starts now.
Hi, everybody. I'm Doc Martin, Dr. Sharon. I'm here with Dr. Georgia and Dr. Pat. And this is the Sacred Magic Show. So what does that mean? Well, by sacred magic, Georgia and I mean that we are going to take your connection to spirit, to the ascended masters, to God, and turn it into magic by shifting things for you. Georgia is a master energy worker. So we want to use this time to show you how there is magic in the world, and how if you bring in that connection, and that connection is really all about the biggest vibration of all, which is love, bring that in, you can have remarkable transformation. And that's what we're all about. That's what Georgia's chiropractic and life coaching and energy work business is all about. That's what my physician and energy healing work is all about. And Pat's whole MO is her network, her 20-year-old network of helping you guys shift. So I wanted to make that point because that's exciting. The second thing is, somebody said to me, well, why would you take a caller? What would that person, what they say, how would that have anything to do with me? Why would I want to listen to that? Well, I want to say, hold on a second. I think that's absolutely why you should listen. We are humans sharing the same challenges. And when you deeply listen, and I'm talking like holding sacred space, listen to someone sharing their vulnerability and their challenges, you can feel that energetically. It can work on you and open you up to your own perspectives and shifting things for you. So it's not individual in the sense that close your ears because it doesn't matter. It's individual because the person is being very vulnerable, sharing themselves with you, but it is universal that what we talk about impacts you as well. So I encourage you to listen, even if you think this is a person who you might not have any resonance with. The truth is you do. And Pat, you've seen that in the network, haven't you?
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of things I think we see, and a lot of things that we are now seeing. We're seeing, first of all, we're seeing the up-leveling of people connecting. And I don't even have a language for that, right? Because it's more of an energy. And what I love about it is that it is an energy that enables people to not always know exactly what that means, but know that there's something they want to experience better and bigger. The other thing is, when we think about magic, and we think about, I cannot even tell you, okay, so let's have a pop culture moment. So I got to have a pop culture moment.
Okay, go for it.
My friend sends me the list of all of the TV shows that have been renewed and the ones that have been canceled. And so she sends me this list because she knows that as one show, I absolutely wanted them to renew, but they didn't. And so she sends me the list and it's big circled. But then she says, can you believe all the shows on magic or magical or something about magic, or not even saying the word magic? But some of them say the word witch, some of them don't. And I said, well, which in particular? So she said, one of the, I don't know, Benny, am I allowed to name a network? One of the shows airing on one of the networks that begins with net is called, the show's called Lock and Key. And I didn't watch it till recently, but it's in the air. This idea and the shift that we made from the day-to-day mundane, especially in what we want to include in our energy field, has shifted. Now, why?
I'll tell you.
Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah, but I'll tell you why.
Overwhelming number.
Okay. So let me just digress a minute. I've been
that's what I
working with
did.
this spiritual, this spiritual community led by Dr. Patrice Fields for maybe going on 7 years. And we talk about the forces in the world, the forces in the galaxy. And there is a primal, as in been there since the beginning of time, force of magic. It was stronger years and years and years ago, and stronger before institutions like church institutions tried to take it out. But it is a key alchemical force to have 1 + 1 become 3. And it is the way that shifts of big kinds happen. And I think, and you said, what are the things, I forget your exact question, but I was going to say the 2 things that come to mind are tribe and unity consciousness. And the indigenous knew about how to work within, in Peruvian, you would say within the IU, within your spiritual, your familial connections. Mm-hmm. We need that now. Our earth, our humanity, our species are calling for that now. And we need the help of forces greater than ourselves. And one of the key primal forces is that of magic. And it is a huge force and would be bigger if we took it in more and allowed it to shine more. So you're not, when you say you don't understand it, well, or is it going on? It's going on in our consciousness because we're waking up to the way the indigenous lived. And we need to wake up because we need to make changes that happen soon, and they need to be miraculous.
Yeah.
Am I talking too much?
I'd like to add to that, Sharon. In my chiropractic room with network spinal analysis, it's typical to work with multiple people in a room because when one person opens up, it helps the other person open. So when I only have one person in the waiting room and they've been around with this care for a while, they will wait until other people come because it's more powerful in a group. Group healing is more powerful. And that's where the world is going, where we open the door for the next person and the next, and we all do it together.
You know, you just made me, Pat, talk about pop culture. Somewhere, I think it was Florida, somebody, and I think it was a Starbucks, said, I'm going to pay for the coffee the guy behind me wants. Yeah. And that chain went on for over 300 people till one person who didn't understand the power of unity said, I'm not going to pay for somebody else. After 300, I think it was 384, I could be making that wrong, but it was like as big as that. One after the other passed it on. What an amazing connection. Yeah. And then that person, that sourpuss.
I'm glad you up. I'm inspired. I want to go buy somebody's coffee now.
I know.
We'll get it started. We'll do it.
Yeah.
Or even a gal. How about this? Let's start this. I'll buy a gallon of gas for the person next at the pump.
Oh, I love that.
I mean, we kind of need gas a little more than coffee today, or do we not?
Well, you know, it's interesting you say that because I had this moment the other day and I was watching somebody at the pump literally committed to a dollar amount. Clearly they were filling a card. They had X amount of dollars. That's all they had. They had, I can't remember if it was 5 or whatever it is, because we were kind of looking at each other. And I think he turned to me and said something, yeah, like, you really have a gas guzzler, don't you? I said, you know, it's got a really big gas tank, but it's not that bad on gas. But now that you mentioned it, now I'm paying more. So we had a little chit chat at the gas pump. Both of us, of course, had masks on. And I had a moment where I watched this young man. You know how you click the thing to get not 501, And
A
I had
drip
this,
and a drip.
and I
And you
thought,
just, mm,
and I thought, why don't I just fill his tank? That's really what I thought. Now, by the time I could do this, this guy filled his tank, put the gas tank back, got in his car, and he was gone. But see, what is the energy that we're talking about, ladies? What is the energy that we're talking about? And, part of this is Sacred Heart Open to Love. And for those of you out there, I just want to be really clear about today's show. This is a live call-in show. Sacred Magic with Dr. Georgia and Dr. Sharon. This is a live call-in show. It is a show where you'll get to connect with each of them. Each of them will do readings for you. I call them readings. They're much more than that. But please call in or go over to Facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio, and put your question and comment in there. 1-800-930-2819. Because we're not just talking about this. We want to help you get there. See, we want to help you get there. What does it mean to get there? What does it mean to open to love? Isn't it interesting that Linda lines up 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 shows, and both of them are talking about love in a different way, but both of them are in the active sense of love, open to love. And in that, don't you find it interesting that we're talking about actions that
yeah, it's
demonstrate that?
wonderful. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it.
Absolutely. That's actually what I was thinking about right before the show was, what sets us back from love, what kind of fears and where did these fears come from? And all the things we have to do to step forward, just like you would with your career or a goal, all the emotions you have to work through to move forward on something that's uncomfortable but has a great reward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was listening to someone this morning, and I want to ask you both about this because we are talking about this. I want to ask you, how hungry are we? How hungry? What is the level of hunger that we're experiencing? What are you both looking at right now? And then what gets in the way of satisfying that hunger?
I think the hunger right now, I think it's always been big, but I think it's huge in the past 2.5 years because we've gone into lockdown. That isolation and that fear of looking at somebody, could you, be sick? Do you have a vaccine? That separation we're not meant. I mean, as I said, I use the word tribe. We are not meant to live as socially isolated people. We are a tribe, and we get our inspiration from the collective. I'm just reminded of the Aboriginals and those in Australia, and they did collective dreaming, literally slept together and dreamt together. And then I'm guessing this, I don't know this as a fact, in the morning talked about it. We are meant to share our experiences. We are meant to lift each other up. We are meant to, like the Norman Rockwells. Anybody old enough to remember Norman Rockwell? Am I the oldest one here? To that, the man or the woman bending down to help a kid. That's in our nature. Love is in our nature. And love is when we are the most inspired, illuminated, in pleasure, in feeling good. So I think we want to be filled with love. I think it also, if I look at it energetically, the love vibration is the powerful connection to spirit. And Georgia, you work straight from that platform. In the love vibe, that's how Georgia heals, is straight from that love platform.
What does that look like and feel like for you? And the reason I'm bringing it up is because we can be talking about it, but it's so cool to really try to demonstrate to people. Can I tell you? I'm a demonstrate, and then you can answer it. I can't disclose the details, but Sharon and I had a little predicament, what, 10 days ago, maybe?
Ugh. Mm.
Just got caught up to that.
Okay. Now, it was an impossible. It depends on how you show up. And that's what you're going to talk about, Dr. Georgia. It's like how we show up. You can show up from a complete place of, oh my gosh, there's never going to be a solution to this. I'm never going to find this out. I'm like miserable about it. I'm so angry about it. Or you can be guided intuitively to do the next indicated thing. Long story short, that's actually what we did. And in the process, two incredible artists, a woman I had never met, I was guided to find her on the craziest pop culture site out there, I think. It's like Etsy or something, whatever it is. I don't know why I went there. I don't know how it happened. But she jumped in, and what did she do? Hello, wait a minute. I have this is show and tell. I have a show and tell. And she helped. And she gifted us the most incredible art. Backwards. This is one version of it. She gave us all the versions, Ariane, all the versions, all the files. That's one thing I bought from her. Gave us everything.
And that was energy of sharing and joining up and tribe, just to connect us.
See, this is her work. Hold on. I don't know if I can do it.
Oh.
Okay. Why am I showing you that? Because if love didn't show up, and love from her part, this fabulous artist, if that didn't come together, nothing really got
I was
done.
walking out. I was energetically walking out the door.
So Dr. Georgia, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So Dr. Georgia, that's my example of love in a disastrous situation. Sharon's walking out the door. But how does it show up for you?
Well, soon as you had an example about love and loving Sharon and getting love, you lit up because it's fun. It's exciting. That's what love feels like to me. And then when I hear how you guys work together with love, I have a space inside of me to receive that. So I feel it. It's the same thing how we started at the beginning, how love is contagious, my kind of contagious. And it opens the heart. It's expansive, and it makes life so interesting to see how it's going to unfold, and to watch people brighten up and to pay attention to people. I think you were able to help Sharon because you pay attention to her, you listen to her. And I think that's love. And no matter where we come from in our religious beliefs, it doesn't matter. Love is love. And that's what we need, is to hear through the eyes, hear and in our next step. And it's exuberating. And that's what brings us closer and closer to our goals, closer to our community, closer to the things we crave. And when we're really, really afraid, if we focus on that love, we don't just think about the fear, because there's always fear, always. But just, I went on this big trip to Greece and Italy. It was scary all the time. I was in crowds constantly. I was in questionable parts of town, eating foods I didn't know if they were safe or not, things like that, and climbing and biking and things that were specifically very hard. But I kept focused on feeling guided by love, and love is fun. You have to focus on it. But even though it's difficult when you're stretching, if you focus on that love, it makes it more rewarding. And then you celebrate, and then it feels passionate and exciting in your body. That's what it feels like for me. And I get to watch that in other people too.
And, that's what today's show is about. I just want to remind everybody that, we're talking about love and how it shows up. But there have been many times in my life where I didn't really understand or had the tools or knew what to do. This show is to help you remove the barriers that you may have. And, one of the things I talked about in a previous show, and I think you all remember it, here's the indicator that you've got a barrier. There's one word. It has such a powerful energy. It will cut you off from everything good you want to manifest. And that is the word resentment. If you're holding that resentment, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it, but if you got that energy of that, you're looking at your coworker and saying, you know what, dude, you really shouldn't have got that promotion. Okay. I don't care like who you, right? That takes on a life of its own. And you may be thinking, no, that's not in the way. That's not blocking me to love. Yeah, it is. Because resentment and love has a really hard time coexisting. You have to pick one or the other. One will bump the other out. And I will tell you in a nanosecond, love will bump resentment out and you don't even have to like blink. But you don't know how to do it always. I didn't. So today, this show's for all of you to call in. Is there something, do you have that little resentment? Do you have that little resentment burr under your saddle? Is your horse completely wild because you don't know that you put the resentment burr under there? You don't know that it's there and you know how to get rid of it, because that's what we want to help you with. Our call-in number is 1-800-930-2819. It's a live call-in show. We're going to take your callers right to the end. But this is about giving you
So I'm thinking about that guy who broke the 380 plus Starbucks chain. No, I mean, really, how can you break? But in there's had to be a resentment. Why would I spend money for that person?
Yep.
I don't have enough money. I need my money.
That's a core value belief. That's a core value belief resentment. That right there, that thing is, that's like metastasized resentment.
That's toxic, isn't it?
But it still can be amended, see? Well,
I think absolutely it can be amended. And that's what George and I do energetically, is help open. It's like I don't remember what it's called, but the stuff you put in the car to clean the fuel line. So, you've got the fuel line that's going to bring in the download from spirit. But if it's all corroded and filled up with junk, like your resentment, your fears, all of that other stuff, the jealousy, well, we're going to help. We're going to be that additive that's going to clean your fuel line and let your carburetor go vroom, vroom, vroom.
And it's about opening up and being honest to ourselves where we do have blocks, angers, fears, resentments, and letting go of that resistance and bringing love into ourselves there, and seeing why did something hurt our feelings, and then figure out what's our next step. By bringing that love, we open and we expand so we can let wisdom come through. And then when that wisdom comes through, we're going to hear things like, go get that feeling we need ourselves, go start putting that into our life, or go write a letter and send it, or write a letter and keep it. All of that kind of healing, those steps starts coming in when we start looking at how we feel and not seeing the feeling, the resentment of, oh, resentment, the end, let's just stay here. It's, oh, here's resentment. What do I need? How can I grow from this? Because the resentment's there for a reason. There's something that wasn't met. There was some neglect, some pain. And that feeling is going to be your teacher to launch you into deeper love.
Mm-hmm. So I want to throw out a couple of questions before we go to break, because this I know is going on. How many people right now, how many of you are feeling resentment about COVID? How many of you are thinking about that? How many of you are feeling resentment for the country you think started it all, and therefore then the people in that country, and therefore the people in that country that aren't even in that country, that are in the United States? How does that resentment turn into anger? How are you feeling about how invisible you may feel about the current fact? And I'm taking something that is right up in our faces. How do you feel about how invisible you may feel in the throes that there are more people getting COVID now than we have ever had, but they're not being counted? There are more small businesses that are being affected. But how do you feel about what your experience has been in the past 3 years? What are you carrying forward that we could help you replace with love? And it doesn't matter how deep it is. It doesn't matter how great the loss is. You know, how many of us know people, and Sharon lives and breathes this, but how many of us know people that tell the story of saying goodbye to their fathers through a glass wall, not through touch, not through knowledge? Strangest situations. How many people resent the other person for either getting a vaccine or not getting a vaccine? How many people resent, fill in your own blank. But see, that's just one thing that's in our, that's one isolated venue in our consciousness, just one. But the energy and the anger around this one thing is so immense that alcoholism has risen in online sales to over 550. Bars that have now opened post-COVID are grossing 30% more than they did before COVID. Why? 1-800-930-2819. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, how do you quiet the inner voice? But how might you change that inner voice from a voice of resentment to a voice of love? That's what Dr. Georgia and Dr. Sharon are going to do when we come back. Stay tuned, everybody.
All clear.
Tune into the Dr. Diane Show, where we explore a revolutionary expansion of mind, body, and soul every Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. I bring over 20 years of expertise as a mindset warrior, perspective shifter, and unshakable optimist dedicated to helping you reach your wildest dreams in business, health, performance, and relationships. Join the discussion on the show. Learn more about me, Dr. Diane, and receive a free digital copy of my magazine at naturalnutmeg.com.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack, and I'd love to tell you about the latest technology of the Vollara company. I've been using the Vollara company equipment, the air machines, since 1992, and I have found them to be totally successful in killing mold, mildew, and keeping your house fresh and clean. If you'd like more information on it, you can look at maryjanemack.com or call our office at 888-777-4232.
What if you could enter a sacred vortex of love and beauty, infused with the power of the earth and ascended masters?
Join myself, Dr. Georgia Herrera, and Dr. Sharon Martin in the Sacred Magic Show.
Bring in the mystical and sacred for healing, airing every third Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. You too can have your health and life challenges melt away.
Join now and feel your heart open up to the answers to your most important questions.
There isn't a magic pill to creating your healthy lifestyle, yet it doesn't have to be hard or feel impossible. Health works from the inside out, connecting both your body and your mind. Georgette LePage lives and breathes what she teaches, so allow her to be living proof of what can work for you. Connect with her now for a free 30-minute discovery session to see what results you are looking for and how she can help you get them. Visit GeorgetteLePage.com.
Tune into Awaken Your Magic Within, reveal unconscious systems to discover your unstoppable freedom power. Join me, Tracy Lynn Wallace, on TransformationTalkRadio.com the first Tuesday of each month, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern to gain insight, direction, and tools to uncover limiting beliefs. Get ready to step into your unstoppable power to discover and uncover your magic within.
Hi, I'm Coach Martez.
And I'm licensed therapist with Drina Layton.
We want to invite you to join us on the Coach Martez and with Drina Layton show, where we discuss understanding love, accepting truth, and changing your perspectives.
Relationships are the currency to life, and so many couples find themselves broke in their relationships. We want you to join us for a lively discussion and practical tips and insights on how to turn things around and gain the Married for Life mindset.
Ready to come back in?
We're back. I'm Dr. Sharon here with Dr. Georgia, Dr. Pat, Sacred Magic Show. Before we get into, we have a caller, and we'll get to you in a minute, Paris. We'll be right there. If you want to work with either Dr. Georgia or myself, my website is drsharonmartin.com, drsharonmartin.com, and you can find my email there, and that's the best way to contact me. And Georgia, how about you?
Mine is my website. That's sacredmotherhealing.com. From there, you'll find the phone number to text and social media contacts.
Okay, perfect. So just before we go to Paris, I just want to reiterate that the energetics that Georgia and I set up here are universal. And what happens, and I want to explain this briefly because we had a caller in our first show that called in with one energetic, and by the next show when she called in, things were miraculously different. And Georgia and I don't make the shifts happen. We open to spirit. And the caller was receptive enough to take that. It's sort of like we set up a vortex and you step into it. And then if you're receptive enough and willing, that can blow you wide open in a good way. And so when you see shifts happen, you're ready for that. You are the one who is allowing that. So I just want to really make that point. But anyway, Paris, please tell us how we can help you.
Okay. I've probably asked this question 1,000 times or 100,000 times in my lifetime. So I'm 74 years old, and love has eluded me my whole life. Not that I haven't been in love. I've been in love 3 times, and I know you talked about COVID, but that wasn't why I called. I hope that's okay.
Of course it is. Yes, of course.
Oh, thank you. So I don't know. I've done everything I know to do. I have my first boyfriend's picture with me on my refrigerator because I keep thinking if I put it there, I keep thinking that I'm blocked from him because of the wound was so deep. But I made that up. I don't know if that's true.
Well,
I've been married twice, just so you know, and neither one of those were the people I was in love with.
Right. So what I'm hearing is that you have a pretty high standard, even though you've had 3 relationships that you say you loved. Do you think you have a high standard?
I don't know what a high standard. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here feeling that you have an image that you think means real love. And I'm not sure if that isn't a sort of a fooler for you, if it's not. George, I'll let you chime in just a second. What I'm feeling is that your attention to this image has taken you out of the things you feel when you're in that relationship. And that I'm wondering if you're not actually feeling love when you're in those relationships, but your mind keeps pulling you out to this image and telling you that what you're feeling is not as good as that. Georgia, chime in here.
Exactly, Sharon. That's exactly what I was thinking about. When we watch movies and read the books, it's always about what happens in the first week or couple of months or even first year. And that's the infatuation that can happen with a lot of people, depending on your astrology. For some people, their astrology is more picky for a love person versus some people that, you know, somebody with lots of Aries, they can fall in love very easily, but it's real quick and then it's over. And then you have somebody like a Taurus where they're going to take a long time to fall in love with anyone. So it depends on your astrology. So you have to value who you are. But the thing is, like we were saying earlier, love is an action. So we can turn our relationships into what we want. It's bringing that to our relationships, bringing it to our friendships, bringing it to our romantic relationships to create the environment that we want. And as we bring it to our relationships, we also learn how to bring it to ourselves. And if we outgrow our partner, let's say, because we now have a new, larger bucket of love, we can change partners for somebody else that has a bigger bucket of love. So that is fine. And because as we shift, we have a different language inside. So we have to have a different partner sometimes, or sometimes our partner changes with us with that. And now I'm repeating, but with that bucket of love. And I feel like the more you work on loving yourself and letting yourself spend time with God, letting that love in, you're going to be shown how to love the people in your life and also how to heal those wounds that have hurt before and not get caught up in media, in the quick love, the magic love that this person's going to complete me and it's going to be a spark forever. It's more about psychology. That's what love is a lot about that. So Sharon, what would you add?
I just want to take it, Paris, if you'll go with us, I want to take it to the energetic, and I want you to bring yourself into your heart space. So if you can just energetically bring yourself into your heart space, and Georgia and I are shifting the energetics as I talk. When you're in that space, then the actions and the feelings and the wishes you have come from a place of love. So I really want you to feel yourself in that space. It's out of the head. It's out of the looking out to the world and saying, oh, well, I'm not over there. I need to be over there. Oh, wait, that doesn't look good enough. I need to move over here. Oh, no. Bring yourself back in. Continue to bring yourself back in and operate with love for yourself and for those around you. And I think if we can just, and energetically, we're setting that for you. We're clearing that path for you. If you can bring yourself into your heart space, sitting in there comfortably, feeling loved from spirit, even if you didn't have it in your past relationships or your childhood or growing up, feeling that place where you are perfect and that you are deserving of love, then the actions you take moving forward come from inside that space. And that's going to be important for you because you could spin yourself out of control looking out to see what doesn't match you and, oh my gosh, I have to be that, or needs to be that, or this isn't good. Bringing yourself back into that space. And I'm wondering if you can feel that difference, Paris. If you'll share with me what you're feeling.
I don't know what to do. I think I've done everything I know to do and not do, if you know what I mean. I've approached it from every aspect that I come from love. I believe that. And I believe my heart is open.
Could you feel the energy of...
Is it possible it's not your destiny to have that?
Can I jump in? Hey, Paris, it's Dr. Pat. How are you?
Okay.
So let me just acknowledge you for a minute. I am so honored you called in today to share something so vital and important that millions of people go through, and myself included. I was listening to you when you opened up the call, and I think you referenced a love that you've had that was, how else should I say it, that broke your heart. Is that correct?
Yeah, my first love.
First love. Do you know, I still think about my first love. I was 16. Now, okay, don't roll your eyes, everybody. Yeah, I considered that a first love. But love is powerful. And my sense of you is that love is very powerful and was very powerful for you. Am I right about that?
That's all there is. I mean, that's my life. I don't know anything else.
Yeah. But it's very powerful for you. And
100%.
100,000,000%, if that's like even a number. And when we have a powerful love like that, at least for me, and see if you resonate with this, you go on throughout your life and you hope and you look for that kind of love again. Now, I can't tell you how many not so good relationships I went through, right, in that search. And it sounds like you had the same journey, right?
Yeah.
You know, I think you even said, I really married people. Correct me if I'm wrong. I hate to paraphrase wrong. But I had 2 other marriages, but it wasn't that love, right?
It was other reasons.
Other reasons. So here's what I'm going to say to you from my background and perspective. I don't want you to give up on love. And I don't want you to give up on that feeling of love. But what I want to ask you to do is remove any doubt from your consciousness. And that's what Sharon took away. That's what Sharon took away. She took away the idea or the doubt that you will never have that kind of love again. So she actually helped remove that in the energetic block. Now it's up to you to remove it, because I went for 30 years thinking I am never, ever going to have that experience again. And I was wrong. And when I got some help on it, and this is the help you're getting today, we're only asking you to do one thing. I want you to change one belief. No, you're not destined to not be in love or have love. Absolutely not. I don't know what kind of universe you believe in, but I believe you're destined to have the love you want. We just have to move something out of your realm of consciousness. And I do believe it's the belief, I'm never going to have love again. It's not a destiny. No. So are you willing to really work? Which Sharon has created the opening, and so did Dr. Georgia, to let that go. Are you ready to let that go with us?
100%.
Can I hear you say, I am so destined to have the most exciting, juiciest love, better than my first love? Can you do that?
I am so ready to have the best, the most magnificent love of my life.
Okay, these two ladies are still working on you. Come on, you got to join me in this, Paris. Look it. Paris, I am so absolutely ready to have the most juiciest love in my life like now.
I am ready to have the most juiciest love in my life ever.
Okay, Sharon and Dr. Georgia, you two got to work harder. One more time, Paris. One more time. Go ahead. You ladies, you got to work a little bit harder here. Come on, Paris. I'm Paris. I'm ready. I'm named after a city. I'm named after the dang city of love. And I am ready to have the most juiciest love relationship in my life now.
Okay. I am ready to have. Ready to have the most juiciest relationship that I've ever had.
Okay.
That you've ever had.
Ever. All right, here's the deal. This is your assignment because both Dr. Sharon and Dr. Georgia are going to continue to work on the energy of it. You're almost there. I want you for 70 times a day for 70 days. You got me? You feel me? Do not do 69. I'm telling you, 70 times a day. This is your mantra. Do you believe in God, universe? What do you call it? That thing you believe in? What do you call it?
All of it. Creator, universe.
Right. All right, here we go. I want to thank you, God, creator, universe, for sending me the juiciest relationship in my life. 70 times a day, 70 days. You got to do it.
Okay, I'll do it.
And the reason I'm telling you to do it, because both Sharon and Dr. George are going to, every time you do it, they're going to feel the energy and clear it for you. And I want you to call in on the next time they're on, because I'm telling you, this is the only thing that helped me open up my heart for the most loving, deeply, deeply, deeply loving, friendship loving, intimate loving relationship in my life, one that I never, and by the way, it was a previous one, and never, ever, 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 ever thought I'd be able to repair. Hello. Okay, Paris, can you do it for us?
I'll do it for everyone. Yes.
But do it for yourself. Please do it for yourself, because they're going to keep working with you energetically. And not 69 times a day, 70 times a day. And you can have your own version of it, okay?
For 70 days.
Yes, ma'am.
And when's the next time they're going to be on here?
Ladies?
Is that in a month?
No.
Yeah, in 30 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 30
But that
days.
doesn't mean you can't reach out to them. So I'm going to make sure that they're giving out their information. Stay in touch with us and stay in touch with them, because they're going to be able, I call this energetic nitpicking healing. They're going to be able to nitpick not the burrs under the saddle, but the little teeny thorns that you get from those little roses, right? You ever get one of those in your finger and you cannot find it? They're going to be able to help you with that, okay?
Thank you.
Boy, I needed to hear that too. Paris, thank you so much.
Paris, thank you.
All. Thank you all. Thank you.
Hey, let's make sure everybody knows how to get a hold of you and work with you, because, you know, this is a small part of her energy shifted in 3 minutes in Paris. Good job. Right, ladies?
Absolutely.
There's a work that we do in the outside world when we're physical, when we're vocal, but that's only the tip of the iceberg. The energetic work, and Sharon, which you opened the portal for, and Dr. Georgia, that is the work that gets rid of the rest of the iceberg. So how do people find out more about each of you? Can you please let them know how they contact you, how they schedule time with you?
Yes, so I just want to close one thing here.
Okay.
Every time Paris does that mantra, she is bringing the vibratory pattern of what we set. And then each time she does it, that builds and builds and builds. So that vibratory structure keeps getting renewed and renewed and renewed, and then it's finally ingrained. So that really is important to do. But anyway, drsharonmartin.com, drsharonmartin.com, and my website, the email is on there. And so, Georgia.
sacredmotherhealing.com. That's my website, and you can click around and find out about the services and contact information there.
I want to ask you both to comment in the last couple of minutes we have left. This is about shifting blocks to love. And this is one of the most powerful things we need right now in the world. I mean, across the board, just across the board. Don't you both think that?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
The most
It is the vibration that can heal anything. It can heal the wounded, heal the sick, heal the barriers, and lift you higher. So it's, talk about magic. That is a magical vibration. That's the big cheese of vibrations.
I agree. It softens the heart so we can see ourselves and see others and be brave.
And I'm just another reflection about what a Paris's struggle is. When you sit in the relationship you're in right now and have the comparison to how it isn't what it used to be, or it isn't what you really want, that takes away from the being fully present in what you have. And that mantra that Pat helped Paris come to brings it all down to the immediate moment. And it brings it all into, instead of thinking, well, this isn't what it should be or was or what I really want, is saying, I am ready for this. I am open to this. And then that becomes, I have this. Then that becomes, I am this. And then watch the shifts that happen around you when your partner starts to be more of what you wanted. And because that way of shifting you from that inner critic to the resounding juiciness shifts everything.
I just want to say, Georgia, Dr. Georgia, it took 3 of us to get there. That's how powerful her first love was. That it took 3 of us, Dr. Georgia, with you opening it up, then Sharon, you shifting the energy, so that the hit that I got was, okay, I can help her. This feels so familiar. Sometimes it does take multiple aspects of work, but that first love, I hadn't thought about my first love in 10 years until Paris. Thank you for that moment and the struggle of it, and the struggle with sexual identity. I mean, it was so amazing.
It's such a powerful imprint.
It is.
It's an imprint, and yeah.
Dr. Georgia, how do we find out about you? How do we get more juiciness from you?
Yeah, at sacredmotherhealing.com. And you can also find us on Instagram.
Cool.
Yeah, a lot of fun stuff there too.
We got a minute. I'd like to know what each of you want to leave us with. Sharon?
I think the 3 of us coming together to make a very powerful shift in what was a very powerful imprint, that's the meaning of tribe. That's the unity that we're all seeking. Let's keep it going. Let's do, all of us collectively, let's do more of that stuff.
And holding space for other people for exactly where they are, and letting them open and bloom right in front of us, and holding that space for them.